So one of the questions I get all the time is, was rebuilding this truck worth it? Now, if you guys have followed along for a while, or if you don't know, I rebuilt this truck roughly over the course of about 5 years. I picked it up in March, I think, of 2019, and last year I was able to finally get it registered as a rebuilt title. I bought it from a salvage auction. Buy is a special word, and it needed a ton of work. As you guys, if you guys have seen the playlist, the videos, you guys have seen that I have basically rebuilt this truck from the ground up, literally from the frame up, if you will. Went up to Missouri, picked it up, sight unseen, and drove it home without even having it registered. It was a really sketchy, it's a good video series. You guys should check it out. I got a whole playlist, and this video will be in that playlist if you want to check it out. It's just the whole rebuild from start to finish. But I got this truck from a salvage auction in Missouri, and it needed a lot of work. It needed suspension work, it needed frame work. The frame has been completely replaced. Basically, this whole part of the cab backwards has been replaced. It's got new wheels, new tires, new suspension, new rear bumper, new tail lights, new tailgate, whole new bed, full exhaust. We're sitting on 26-inch wheels on 37-inch tires. It's got a Titan 60-gallon plus fuel tank. Tuck this, I still need to trim that. It's got custom headlights, it's got a custom front bumper. Both of these bumpers I built myself. There's a whole video series on that. It's got light bars and pod lights from Dynamic, a 6-inch Cognito lift. What else? It's got a bunch of stuff. Full custom interior that both me and my buddy Alex did. It's got the Rolls-Royce headliner. The center console is 100% custom that I designed myself. It is deleted and tuned. It's got a fast fuel system on it. It's got an aftermarket Cheetah 67mm turbo. It's got the upgraded piping. I don't know a whole lot about that stuff, so forgive me. It's too much to list in this short intro. It really is. And if you've been following along for a long time, you know how much work has gone into this truck. It wasn't a simple undertaking. It took me a little over 5 years from picking it up to getting it registered. And the one question I get all the time was it worth it? And you know, had you had asked me that question 6 months ago or so, I would have said, yeah, totally. It was totally worth it. I have a paid off truck. Everything in it is custom built. And honestly, this is gonna be me speaking from my YouTuber privilege, but I didn't pay for a lot of the stuff. That's the YouTuber part of stuff. So like, yeah, sure, obviously it was worth it. And I'm gonna do my best to cover the cost on this stuff with you guys, but if I'm also being really honest with you, it's hard because a lot of it is like the YouTuber privilege stuff. This is full transparency, I'm always really good about that. A lot of it was either free labor and I paid for the parts, or free labor and then I sourced the parts, or I made the stuff myself, like the front bumper and the rear bumper. I made that myself. The headliner, I did it myself. The first time. The wheels and tires, I didn't pay for those. The metal to do the bumpers, I didn't pay for those. The custom upholstered seats that I got from my buddy Alex, he would not let me pay for those. I did pay for the bed. I did pay for the paint job on the bed as well. I paid for the frame. I did pay for the labor for the frame swap, and that's a whole nother story we'll get into in a second. But even after all of that free stuff, right, I have to say, I don't think it was worth it. I really don't. Now, had you had asked me that about 6 to 8 months ago, I would have said, absolutely. I finally have my dream truck registered, everything, and I know it's not perfect. It's very dirty. There's some plastic lug caps missing. There's, some bolts here and there that aren't perfectly tight, The wheel liner needs to be adjusted. There's always something to be done on this truck because I drive it every day and I use it and I abuse it. Things break. So like I said, it's hard for me to give you an honest answer on whether or not it was worth it, because I can't even come up with a genuine dollar for dollar cost on what this truck cost. I'm thinking I'm somewhere between $25,000 and $30,000 is what I spent of my own money, excluding the partnership deals, excluding the free stuff, right, on how much it costs to rebuild the truck. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the truck, I really do. It's been my favorite vehicle that I've owned on the channel for the most part. I've got so much time and money and effort into this thing. But I tell you what, it cost me a lot too. Not financially, or maybe you could look at it financially. But one of the worst things about this truck was how long it took me to finish it, right? I've talked about that. I've been pretty open about that in the videos. It took me around 5 years, like I said, from picking it up to getting it registered. And there's a lot of reasons as to why it took that long. Number one being the frame swap. That was the biggest mistake that I've ever done, was the frame swap. And there's a whole lot of reasons I talked about that. I don't want to make myself be a victim here. I don't believe in victimhood or victim mentality, but I partnered with a company that was going to do the frame swap with me and for me, and it took way longer than they said it was going to take for a lot of reasons. Automotive industry is a high turnover rate, so I'd have somebody working on the truck with me. We'd get like halfway through it or get to a certain stopping point, and then that person would get fired, or that person would quit, and they'd put me on with another person. And that happened over and over and over again. My truck sat for over a year and a half, didn't get worked on, and it took, like I said, over 2 years to get the frame swap done, which was supposed to be free, and then they tried to charge me for the labor after they had already done the. It was a nightmare, dude. I don't even want to get into it because it's not what this video's about. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but you guys know how it is on YouTube. If you're not finishing a car build in like a month, YouTube forgets about you. And this took 5 years. And sure, a lot of it was me. I did a lot of the same stuff twice, right? I did the bed twice. I bought 2 different beds for this truck. I did the interior at least twice. I did the seats twice. I did the carpets twice. I did the headliner. I did the wheels twice. I did the suspension twice. That was a learning experience for me. But because it sat for over 2 years not getting worked on in somebody else's shop, that tanked the momentum on the build. And I went from getting like 250,000 to 500,000 views per video on this truck to getting like 50, 30, 20,000 views on the truck. And the views are what paid for the truck to be rebuilt, right? And that also reflected heavily on my channel in a negative way. I don't want to say it killed my channel, but it certainly did not help it. It might have it really nosedived. If you go back and look at the timing of the video statistically, this nosedived towards the end, the viewership on the build series, because the momentum was gone, And even now, if you're coming to my channel for the first time in a while being like, oh, you still have that truck? It's like, yeah, I still have this truck. You know how much effort and time and money and sleepless nights and work went into getting this truck road worthy and road legal? So that's when I say it wasn't worth it for me. And like I said, had you asked me 6 months ago, I would have said, yes, absolutely. And that was because before then, everything was running and driving good. But then I blew the freaking turbo. It just shit the bed at like 128,000 miles, 125,000 miles, something like that. And that was another 10 grand to get that redone. That's a new intercooler, new turbo, 67mm Cheetah turbo, which is, from what I understand, is a good turbo. A lot of people like those guys. I think it sounds great. It's got great power, But like, damn. You know what I mean? So like long term, it was pretty damning on the channel because like a lot of people lost interest, a lot of people lost faith. And I get it, Now this truck is probably worth anywhere between 30 and 40 the way it sits. It's got a rebuilt title, so that's good. It's street legal, all that other stuff. It's tuned and deleted. Fantastic, we love that. But considering how much like time and money and effort that went into it, for me, I can't imagine it being worth it for you. Does that make sense? And that's just me being honest. Had it only taken a year, maybe 2 to do, then yeah. But I'll say one of the things that's been super beneficial about the truck is that I learned so much on how to do things. I learned how to get into wiring, and I learned how to get to be a decent fabricator because I built like 2 sets of bumpers for the truck on front and back. And it's great, like it's paid off. I don't owe $1 on it, I don't have a truck payment. It sits in my driveway. I can drive it if I want. It starts up pretty much every time. I've never had any issues with it other than when the turbo blows up occasionally. It's just now that I feel like I'm in a weird situation with it because I can't get rid of it. It's not worth it to sell. And if I sell it, I feel like a quitter. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, I don't hate it. I love the truck, Things that I would have done differently is I probably would not have done the frame swap. I would have probably just had the frame pulled. I think that would have probably saved me a good amount of time. I was just talked into doing the frame swap because I had buddies that worked over at the company that did the frame swap, and they're like, oh, it won't be that big of a deal. It'll take a couple weeks. Yeah, 2.5 years later. And at the same time, I think I would have gone with a Dodge had I known what I know now. I know a little bit more about the Duramaxes, specifically about this generation, the generation before it as well. I think I would have gone with a Cummins, I'm just too much of like a die-hard GM guy. I love Chevy, I love GM, I love General Motors. I like the way they build stuff. I like the way their stuff looks and sounds. So I love the V8, but if you want to make something that's good with a lot of power and it's big and comfortable, I think a Cummins would have been the way to go. But I'm not telling you this because I think that you shouldn't rebuild salvage title vehicles. I think if you really look at the right deals, you can get amazing finds. You can get your money's worth tenfold, 100 times. And had this frame swap not have taken 2 years, then I think this thing still absolutely would have been worth it. I would have had the vehicle registered 2 years before. I would have been enjoying it 2 years before. The videos would have been continuously going. I wouldn't have lost that drive, that motivation, and that momentum. I think it would have been much more worth it then. It's just hard for me to say that I don't think it was worth it because of how cool the truck is now, right? I mean, it's got badass wheels, and I know these wheels aren't like everyone's cup of tea, but I mean, it's got badass wheels and tires. It's got badass front and rear bumpers that I built. The interior is fantastic. Sometimes it gets a little hard for me to look at the truck though, thinking about all the pain it caused me. You know, it's like being with an abusive ex. It just beats the shit out of you every now and again, you know, I don't know, whatever. Oh yeah, that one time we went to Cabo was great, but I also got a black eye. So yeah, 5 years later, it's hard for me to say that I think it was worth it. That doesn't mean I would get rid of it. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't do it all over again. I would probably do things differently, but for me, it didn't come out to be worth it. It would have been much easier. I would have had this truck paid off if I just bought a truck 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And then built that truck up. I would have had a brand new truck without any of the issues, without any of this stuff, and it would have probably cost me around the same. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to say. But I don't want anybody to be detoured from this. I think that rebuilding a vehicle is probably, you need to do it, right? Like the world is becoming fuller and fuller of throwaway shit. Oh, this stopped working? Throw it away. It's done. And I don't like that. I've never liked that. So I think rebuilding and doing your research and fixing a car up from the ground up is way better than like going and buying a new one, especially with how much they are today. And now I think about it, let's take a step back. If you were to go and buy a 2025, this is a 2015, if you're going to get a 2025 GMC Sierra 3500 Denali 4-wheel drive dually, you're probably looking at close to 80 to 100 grand depending on the package and trim. Is this truck the way it sits worth 100 grand? Absolutely not. Will it outperform a truck that's worth 100 grand? I mean, maybe. It's tuned and deleted. It's got more upgraded powers. It's very nice and comfortable in here. You know, got the Rolls-Royce headliner. I got my custom center console that I made. And there's videos and all of this, by the way. I know it's really dirty in here, but like, you know, this is all custom, man. 100% did this all myself. This whole shit. And then, you know, the seats by my buddy Alex over at Magna Upholstery. Go check him out. So like, could you get this for 100 grand? You could get this for way cheaper than 100 grand. And I'll tell you what it will do. I'll show you. And I do mean the whole fucking way. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that with modern trucks. There's too many EPA regulations. If I wanted to get a truck deleted and tuned today, I know there's ways to do it. Have no idea how. And that turbo noise sounds so good. That's the upgraded. You know what? Maybe it was worth it. Fuck it. Maybe it was. Maybe it was worth it. What do I know? Fucking buy the truck.